Hi everyone! Did you know that telepathy is in our DNA? Let's find out how. There's a ton of interesting information out there about the electromagnetic capacities of our brains and our mysterious DNA. Some of the research is decades old and much further along now, but stuff like this is not easy to find. It's been known since the 90s that our DNA stores data like a computer's memory system. And now, check out this article. Microsoft has purchased 10 million strands of synthetic DNA and collaborated with researchers from University of Washington to explore the idea of using synthetic DNA to store huge amount of data. In the 1990s, a group of Russian scientists, led by Pjotr Garjajev, came together to study the so-called junk DNA, or silent DNA, that is not being used for protein synthesis. They simply did not believe that it's useless. It's funny how they found that the silent DNA actually speaks a language. All human languages, to be precise. Basically, their findings were that our genetic code follows grammar rules and syntax in a way that closely mirrors human language at a fundamental level. So it doesn't matter which language you use, you can influence DNA with speech. To achieve their results, they exposed living DNA to language-modulated laser rays and radio waves. Which is quite significant considering the fact that the official standard method of DNA manipulation was very invasive as it involved physically cutting and replacing genes. And they successfully, quote, transformed frog embryos to salamander embryos simply by transmitting the DNA information patterns. This way, the entire information was transmitted without any of the side effects or disharmonies encountered when cutting out and reintroducing single genes from the DNA. To many people, this research serves as proof for why affirmations and hypnosis work. I believe more factors play into it, but knowing that our body reacts to speech, sound, and other frequencies is quite valuable and worth keeping in mind. It reminds me of ancient records about creator gods speaking a special kind of language in order to manipulate matter and create physical objects out of thin air. But even young stories like those in the Bible, for example, where God always said the word to manifest stuff, point to a similar direction. The reason I tell you about this is because science is pretty interesting. But more importantly, our bodies are a very precious piece of technology, which we have just begun to understand. Not only is information stored in our DNA, information is also actively transmitted and received by our DNA. Garjajev and his group of scientists used the term hypercommunication, which apparently only works in a relaxed state. I hope that rings a bell. Hypercommunication is very interesting to look into, as it connects to the idea behind Einstein-Rosen bridges, only on a microscopic scale. According to the scientists, our DNA creates tiny wormholes in space-time and sends and receives information through them. With this knowledge, they back up psychic phenomena such as telepathy and a process known to us as intuition, to name a few examples. I'd like to know more about it myself, but it's all I got so far. I may get my hands on a book that deals more closely with this particular DNA research someday, but for now, we just gotta keep DNA communication in mind. Because there is an electromagnetic field around our bodies which constantly interacts with everything and everyone around us. You may have heard something about human aura before. Lucky for us, we have the technology to measure and capture it on photo. Combining our knowledge about hypercommunication and other amazing capacities of our DNA with the knowledge of auras, we can dive deeper into telepathy and spirit guide communication. This energetic field is not unique to human bodies. Everything is energy. Our thoughts and emotions are also energy. We can measure the frequency of our emotions and how they affect our brain activity, for example. Is it possible that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions are communicated by our DNA and actually manifest in our aura? Absolutely. Your spirit guides know what you think and feel before you consciously process it. Guides essentially connect their energy to yours in order to communicate with you. And you're able to feel that once you become more sensitive and receptive to the vibrational changes. Similarly to how you can feel your brainwaves slowing down while going into a deeper meditative state. I guess Reiki practitioners are very familiar with this aura docking technique. They tune into another person's energetic field and infuse it with fresh energy and positive intent, after all. And because our thoughts, emotions, and intent manifest in our aura, you just can't afford being dishonest with your guides. Or with yourself on that matter. In fact, the more honest you are about how you feel, what you believe in, and what you think at any given point in time, the better. Spirit guides are not there for entertainment. They are not a cheat sheet for life either, so don't expect them to make your decisions for you and tell you what next step you are supposed to take in life. It's not their job to figure out your life for you. You are here to learn your lessons, develop your talents, and grow on a soul level. And spirit guides serve to support you on your path of personal development, soul evolution, and spiritual growth. On this note, it's way better to ask for their insight on any given obstacle you face and allow them to share their perspective on your issues. Sudden bursts of inspiration and creativity are also a form of spirit guide communication. Stay focused, meditate more, and take good care of your mental and emotional health for a better connection with your spirit guides. I know it's a lot of information today. I just don't like to ramble on about a topic without getting to the point. Don't hesitate to ask questions about anything I mentioned in this video. I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend!